Welcome to the special edition of Happy Hour for the Spiritually Curious podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Sandra Marie, and I am thrilled to introduce this special monthly segment, Intuitive Living, with my co-host, Katherine Troyer, owner of Home Slice Living. Katherine brings authentic, topsy-turvy stories and insights to help embrace intuitive living and transform your life. Get ready for real, raw, and transformative conversations designed to inspire your own path of growth. Hey, Katherine, how are you today?
I'm so good, Sandra. How are you? I love the intro.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm super excited to do this. And with this being our very first episode, I thought probably we should talk a little bit about how we came about deciding to do this episode. I feel like intuition weaved into this whole creation.
As it often does with the two of us, I feel like. We've been talking about doing something like this for a while.
At least a year.
Yeah. Isn't it funny? And then all of a sudden it just clicked.
Yeah, I know. I love it. It's interesting because we talk a lot. We go periods, obviously, like many people, where we don't talk a lot or we're just texting or whatever. And I think in our couple of recent conversations, actually telepathy and intuition were coming up a lot. And then it was like, hey, I'm going to do these monthly episodes. Would you want to do a monthly episode on doing the intuitions? And it's interesting how it very easily fell into place with it. So any other thoughts that you had about how this all sort of came together, or your thoughts on, you were super excited to do the intuition topic because I knew we talked about, a variety of topics, and that was the home run for you.
Yeah. And I feel like for me, getting in touch with my intuition has been like a common theme in my life when I was aware of it and also when I wasn't. I just, throughout my life, I have been in so many situations where I truly believe like my intuition saved me. And it was many years before I was ever tapped in or had any awareness about, what I was doing kind of or what I was dealing with. And then I just think because of my, you know, practice with home energy and the energetics of an environment and really like my interior design career and all of that, like that's really all come from, so much relying on my intuition and what feels good. And so I think for me, like just intuition has been like this gateway thing into so many other things, right? Because I feel like when you can really like trust yourself, not that that's always easy, right? It's an in and out kind of thing, but when you can trust yourself, it tends to set you up for more aligned situations, opportunities, I guess, things like that. I don't know. I think it's just like the best way to get to know yourself is to get more and more and more in touch with your intuition.
I would agree. It's definitely part of the journey for sure. Katherine, I have to tell you, I'm super excited about our tagline for the show: love loud, live loud. I'll have to say that you really hit a home run with that. So I would like to talk a little bit about it to sort of give the listeners a feel about where it came from. I listen a lot to an astrologer, Pam Gregory, pretty routinely. I think that you listen to her also. And more recently, she dropped a 10-minute show and was just talking about some of the things that were happening and really encouraging people to just stay centered. And she made a comment and she said, it's really important that we start loving more loudly to drown out the chaos in the world. And I was like, gosh, those 3 words really hit me hard: love more loudly. And it really gave me a moment of pause. It was interesting because then she said she really encouraged the people listening to use that statement, those words, in their media and their postings and to share it, whatever. She was like fine with it, like, please put it out there. And I was like, wow, my first inclination, I have to be honest with you, was that would make a great title for a show. And then I thought, oh my God, that will be a perfect tagline for this new episode that we're going to do. We talked a little bit about it, and then you shot over the text love loud, live loud. I was like, yep, that's it. Definitely a home run. Can you share a little bit about what it means to you to love loud and to live loud?
I love that you asked this question because I feel when we were originally talking about it for the show, I really didn't give it like a lot of deep thought. I was just like, oh, I love that. And it felt really good inside. But to me, what loving loud and living loud really to me means is like this level. So this living from this level of authenticity that really just allows you to be fully seen and loving from that space as well and not being afraid, right, of taking
Yeah.
up too much space or being too bright or, being too much yourself or just whatever that may be that, has kind of held us back and in society, especially the last, you know, 10 to 20 years, we've seen so much, I think, authenticity kind of be stripped out of our society. And it's been more about being kind of similar to everyone else. That's kind of been the blueprint. And now there's just so many energetic shifts going on in the astrology and all of the things. We're seeing the complete opposite where collectively it's not just going to be the small, confident group of people that's not afraid, to be seen. But I think we're all going to start to really embrace that and get comfortable with it. And so to me, I think loving loudly and living loudly can only truly be experienced if we are living from that really authentic place where we have no fear of being seen and showing up as this really like raw, awesome version of ourselves.
That nicely said. I mean, there's a lot to think about with that. I feel it honestly, I feel it could be unique for each of us.
Mm.
And honestly, we would love for all you out there listening and watching this to add your thoughts about love loud, live loud in the comments below. And, what does it mean to you? How do you interpret how do you see it play out in your life? Love loud, live loud. For me, I feel it's exactly what you said. It's about fully embracing life with courage, authenticity, and heart, showing up as your truest self and trusting your inner wisdom to guide you throughout. One of the things I would say is this series, Katherine and I will be exploring what it means to live intuitively and how tuning into your inner voice can empower you to live and love out loud in every area of your life. So we really look forward to expanding on that. And I'm very excited to read the comments below so that we can join in on that too. Katherine, so I don't know, you might be a little surprised by this or not. I was talking about you have to create these little thumbnails for YouTube and stuff whenever you don't have to do it, but it's
Yeah.
sort of like what you do when you're putting this out. And I've really been obsessed with the color magenta. And there was something about when I was putting together the thumbnail for this, I felt like I was having a hard time getting like the magenta color or the right color. So for me, colors all have frequency and vibrations. And, in my world, I think that they carry templates and different codes, but that's a whole different conversation. Uh, the color magenta that we're using for the thumbprint for this really resonates with unconditional love that transcends personal emotions and connects to that universal compassion. It really bridges the energies of the heart and the higher spiritual realm. So if you think about it, magenta, it blends the reds, which are grounding energy, with the violets, which are spiritual frequency, right? Which is creating the bridge between the earthly existence and the higher spiritual awareness. So that also played a little part for anyone who cares as we're putting this together as a foundational element to it. I mean, sometimes I really get into every little piece of it to make sure that It's got the right frequency, and it's going to meet people where they're at to help them out.
Well, I love that you shared that. Just like a quick little side note, we did a feng shui crystal making event. I hosted one last night,
Oh,
and there were several different women that wanted to bead their crystals with the colors of the chakra system. But a couple of them were like, man, I really want pink beads in here. And it went so far as that we even had an entire discussion about, well, they could put the pink bead after the green beads because, the green is the heart chakra, but pink makes them think of the heart. And we even had this discussion about it being like the heart being a bridge and
oh,
just all of the things that you just said. And it really revolved around adding pink beads in the chakra system line of color, basically, for their feng shui crystals. So I had to share that because I thought that's just too funny.
well, that's funny, and I think it plays right into it because intuitively, I was just like, I need to put magenta in it. It's part of this
Yeah.
project, and it's got a meaning for it, and so that's, as I was looking at it, to me, the meaning of it. And then these people are intuitively feeling like pink should go in there with their heart chakra.
Yeah.
So
I just thought
I
that's so cool.
I love that it wasn't like, no, that's not the rule or how it works. It just, that was intuitively what it felt, and you created it. Everything is
Yeah.
evolving and changing. Like, I feel like
So fast.
no rules. There's just no rules anymore.
Yes.
Everything is thrown out, and we're starting from the beginning. And, you talked a lot about being authentic. And I think this is it, man. This is our time. This is our
Well, we're
time to
creating
be
our,
our true selves.
because we get to create, like, I love what you just said about there are no rules because it does kind of feel like that. Like, I woke up one day and the normal rules that have governed the way things work are just kind of not there. But it's like, okay, well, what rules do you want? But again, authentic for each person, like almost like we're in like our own little bubbles of creation, right? And it's kind of like, I think we've always been there, but for some reason, we have more of this direct access. I mean, who knows what language to even put to this because I don't know what the hell is going on. Like, but it definitely feels kind of like that. Like I've been asking myself more and not intentionally, but I feel like I've been approaching different things in my life from more like, okay, well, what do you want that to be? Well, how do you want that to be regularly? Well, even just when I'm thinking about things in my head, I'll stop myself and think, oh, is that how I want something to be regularly? Oh, no. Well, then I can just decide how and again, I think it's always been like that, but there's this quickening, this I don't know what it is, but things are moving and grooving.
That they are. And I have to tell you, it's interesting as you were talking, what I realized is that on the Wild Souls Gathering website, that's folded out there as a headline on the front page. The old rules no longer apply. And I didn't even really think about it when I was talking about that. So again, that's a couple years old. Intuitively, it's been
Mm.
out there, and we're morphing into whatever this wonderful new energetic change is that we're morphing into. I'm loving it. It's a beautiful
Yeah.
thing. I want to thank everyone who's joined us for this first episode of Intuitive Living. I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to join Katherine and myself. Katherine, as always, I appreciate your wisdom, your insights, and honestly, most of all, I appreciate you.
Yes,
So,
I appreciate you. Get out of here. Thank you, everybody, for listening.
okay, so I look forward to our next episode. Until next time, remember, love loud and live loud.
Live loud.
Yeah.